Hello, everyone. Is the Prophet Michael David, aka Aries, and today we are going to be talking about day 36, the last day. All right, short recap. If you didn't watch my last video, I was standing on my deck in all my green and gold, looking up at a very bright red star that I thought was Betelgeuse, but probably wasn't. And then 12:01 passed, and um, I heard the voice, "You are Aries," and I walked in the house and went upstairs and brushed my teeth and went to bed and fell asleep very, very quickly. And then I woke up the next day around 8:30. I woke up around 8:30, took a shower, went downstairs, got my coffee out of my Keurig machine because it was still COVID. It was April 5th, 2021. And I didn't go downstairs at all to my computer. I just sat on the couch and I turned on CNBC and just sat there, and I smoked a bowl. I waked and baked, but and then I just sat there and watched CNBC, and a bunch of crazy stuff happened. I have to admit, in that moment, I still had like God, you know, the Holy Spirit beating upon me. It was less, but it was still present, everything. And I was just looking at CNBC and looking at all those colors and thinking about my different eyes. I knew this one was green and gold, as I've described before. It's green and gold, the source of all wealth, all we value, a mother's love, and the other heart is the black heart, the red and black one, and that's a father's love, and it's very conditional in many, many ways. But this one, I'd always imagined as just solid blue, the third eye. And in that moment, I realized that it wasn't just looking at all the colors on CNBC, that it wasn't just blue. It was blue and white. So this eye was blue and white, this one was green and gold, and this one was red and black. That I was a combination of 6 colors. And in that moment, I gained my fourth eye, my sixth eye overall. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right here where this that C is on my sweater. And that's kind of like the fourth eye, the sixth eye overall is kind of like the power source. That's why it's kind of like copyright. It's a combination of all 6 of the colors. So I'm a combination of all 6 of the colors. You all are a combination of 6 of colors. It's like a barcode, but a barcode from God. And even more than that, for me, it's where, like, from an Eastern point of view, chi flow comes from. It's not your heart, but it's your chi flow and everything. And then segueing from Asia back to Western zodiac. All right, my 2 houses, Aries and Taurus, have always been known as the first 2 houses, but they conflict. They're kind of like this. They're like magnets in a way. And so they do not get along very well at all. Aries and Taurus historically do not get along very well. But every once in a while, like magnets, if you can configure them properly, turn one upside down, then they become basically the yin and yang, the Tao, the Tao, whatever you want to call it. And that's what that eye is. It's like a power source. For me, it's like my Taurus and my Aries rotating around each other in harmony, but that's what it is. Chi flow. That's what that eye is. So then I was still watching CNBC, and Now I had 4 extra eyes, 6 in total. And there was this CNBC exclusive or whatever that came up, and I do not remember the gentleman's name, but he was this guy, this black guy that played football at Rutgers, and he got paralyzed, paraplegic, so from the neck down, and in like the midst of COVID, he was trying to start a coffee shop in Boston, I believe. Again, I remember everything about it except the guy's name. And in that moment, you know, right after getting my 4th eye, like I could just see, I've never really seen an aura shooting out of anybody except that man, but I could see the aura shooting out of him in that moment, and it was like gold. And I just remember listening to the story and just seeing the look on his face and imagining everything that he'd been through. And I just said his mother should be very proud of him. And I heard Gaia, God, say, yes, she is. Now, I don't know if she meant the guy's actual biological mother or her or what, but I can definitely say in that instant that like he was or he is the most beautiful human being that I've ever seen. Just the aura, like what happened to him, how he dealt with it. He was just the most beautiful human being that I've ever seen. So then in the next moment, I look to my right, and there's a little pretext in this. My house is exactly the same age as me. It was built in 1978. It's 45 years old. It's almost all wood. It has all these open windows. And so I used I didn't have a lot of window coverings. So I used a lot of my mom's blankets. And I remember when I put this one up that I put it upside down. But at the time, I was a God-fearing, God terrified believer that thought God was trying to kill me. And it's just kind of how I felt. And this goes exactly to the thumbnail of this video. So this is my mom's blanket. I have no idea where she got it from, but I hung this upside down and it stayed that way until that moment. And this is what it looks like. Obviously for that picture, I didn't actually hang the rug or whatever upside down again because I'm not crazy. I'm never going to touch that thing again. But in that moment, I realized that I didn't feel like a fallen angel anymore. And so I turned it upright and hung the thing right side up, and it looks like the thumbnail. But I'll post it again right here. And I swear, all those months, maybe even a year, when it was upside down, I didn't see the baby on there because, you know, I'm American. We read left to right and everything, and the baby was in the lower right hand corner. It just looked like a fallen angel to me. But in that moment, when I turned it over and hung it back up, I instantly said to Gaia, I'm like, that's you and Aries, isn't it? And she's like, yep. It's one of the few iterations where Aries is a baby. Most of the time, he's the black sheep. But yeah, I don't know where my mom got that blanket. She wasn't much of a pack rat, but she did collect blankets and other kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, and as soon as that moment happened, that's when I got my 7th eye, or 5th eye overall, the one on the belly button. And I will explain that right now before I sign off. All right, The fifth eye, the belly button one, overall is probably the most esoteric, but it's probably also the one that has the most meaning about the future. All right, your belly button is created because you were born from your mother and they cut your umbilical cord, and that's kind of what that one is all about, and it's basic. That, from the day you're born, um, the doctor cuts your umbilical cord, hangs you upside down, spanks you on the ass, makes you cry, and says, "Welcome to the game." So, in that way, from that moment on, you're not part of your mother anymore, you're part of yourself. It's also about eventually humanity has to get off the earth, otherwise, it will go extinct. But first, we need to fix the actual earth. It also has to do about the Shiva Linga, because at least an inner belly button has that shape. And it also has to do about prophecy, the navel of um, Apollo, and even Gaia before him. And again, this goes back to the Shiva Lingam. So it's all about prophecy. It's all about being disconnected, but going out on your own and everything in between. So, in conclusion, from that day, actually, I'll do before that. So, day 5, I got this one. That's the third eye. That's the Icarus test. I'm not going to go into the tests. Fourth one was on day 31. That's the leap of faith test. Day 35, that day 34, I apologize, that's the being destroyed by God test. And then the rest of them are realizing you're all the same colors. The fourth eye is your Iron Man one, and then the navel is your prophetic one, because eventually everybody going to be connected to God like prophets, so you're going to need all the connections and somebody to tell you how you can get them. All right, signing off, but yay me, I got through all the 36 days. Man, 35 days took so many videos. I did not think it would take 3 videos, but I'm so happy right now I got through them. Next video is going to be on the last 4 songs, and I'll probably bring them all together, the 12 songs and everything, including the Nikki Heaton one. That's not an actual song of the set. But yeah, I'm real happy right now. And yeah, so rule number 1, do not touch another person without their consent, aka do not hurt each other. And rule number 2, it's all about honesty. Lies are a tick down, aka try not to lie. So I'll talk to you all later.